Well, good morning from another beautiful wash and another beautiful morning in Zion. This is a subject that I scoped out yesterday afternoon, and so I wanted to come back this morning and photograph it. It's a really neat sort of three trees with some red there and the nice sandstone cliffs behind. Those red maples just look stunning, and hopefully the Velvia is just going to make this whole scene really pop. So this is a nice little quiet scene, and just a simple composition and nothing tricky with the view camera, just my 200mm lens. And fortunately the air is nice and calm this morning, and I think it's a little hazy maybe from the forest fire smoke blowing in the last couple of days, but I still have some sort of nice directional soft light on those tree trunks, which is neat. I think I have another subject that I found yesterday in this same little slot wash area, and I'm going to go see if I can find that again this morning and work on that next. I photographed these pine trees from 3 different angles. I think it's kind of a toss-up between these two, but ultimately I think I like this one best because, being slightly wider, it shows the environment in which the trees are living just a bit better. I also like this little curve in the sandstone here, and the angle is nice, so I just like this one the best. I used Provia on this one because the brightness range seemed a bit much for Velvia. I was in between focal lengths, so I shot this one a bit looser, knowing I would just crop. Maybe something like this, eliminating those darker voids on the top and left, which would be a distraction from the parts of the image I wanted to emphasize. So I've spent some more time wandering the washes here on the upper east side plateau of Zion, and I was actually hunting for this particular image that I'd marked as a waypoint on my GPS a year ago when I was here. I called it Wall Explosion, and turns out my waypoint on my GPS must have just been, terribly wrong. Well, not terribly wrong, it's fairly close, but not exactly where I thought it was. So I had to wander a bit to find it, but I think it's just a really neat detail on the wall, and I'm hoping that the Velvia is going to really accentuate the colors. It just kind of looks like an explosion to me, and so it's kind of interesting. Actually, I'm in a little wash where they've made tunnels under the road, and actually I think those were all sort of exploded out to make those tunnels. So not that this is related to that, but it's just sort of the same feel. So anyway, it was fun to work on this one, to find it actually, after sort of mentally thinking about where it could be all the last couple of weeks while I was here. Actually, I should say that one of the things I did do with the view camera in order to help with the focus was I used some rear swing. So the subject plane is not parallel to the film plane here. I'm kind of shooting at an angle, so you can just swing either the front standard or the rear standard to align that plane of focus with that angled subject plane. So that's what I did in this case, and you could do either the front or the rear. But I chose to do the rear swing, and what that does for you is it sort of exaggerates the forms in the subject that are closer to the camera. So in doing that, it just sort of makes those forms grow a little bit bigger, exaggerating them, maybe, hopefully, making it more like that explosion feel that I'm sort of going for with this image. So again, that's one of the neat things that you can do with a view camera. You can help sort of manipulate your subject a little bit to kind of fit your vision, and also help you focus at the same time. I just love how the Velvia brings out all the subtle colors in here. And this is the area that got enlarged a bit and emphasized by using the swing of the rear standard for focus alignment. Well, continuing to wander the washes here, I stumbled across a beautiful scene, kind of a mixed color tree guarding this canyon, some other fall color up top there, and just sort of funneling you into the entrance to this little part of the slot canyon, which is part of the washes here up on the Upper East Side of Zion. So a really nice secluded spot. And one thing I did do with the view camera, I used some front swing to align the plane of focus. The wall over here is a little bit nearer to me, and so I just did some front swing, which aligns that plane of focus with the subject plane and allowed me to get everything in focus. One other thing I did with the view camera, I did attach my little lens shade because I do have sun coming down. Always use just a regular lens hood, but then this guy, I just very carefully look through the ground glass and just adjust the angle of this so it's not vignetting, but it does keep the sun off the front element, and so that works really well to prevent lens flare. I used Provia here because there was occasional wind, so I needed that one-stop faster exposure. I used the rear swing again because the canyon wall was closer to me than the tree. Doing this enabled me to focus on both spots simultaneously with the lens wide open. And then you don't have to stop down as much to get everything in focus. Well, I found this neat little subject right at my feet in one of these washes that I actually explored yesterday, and it's just it's a root, and it's just made a little shape, and it's captured a rock in that root, and I thought that was very unique and pretty interesting. So I just came back today and tried it. I had some nice reflected light a little while ago, and I am doing it's kind of a close-up here, so I had to do a third of a stop of bellows or exposure compensation for the overextended bellows. I also did a little bit of swing to deal with the sloping angle of the subject here, again to align my plane of focus so I could keep my aperture, keep from having to stop down any more than necessary. It's a little windy and things are kind of moving here, so when it was nice glowing reflected light, hopefully that Velvia will really pick up the colors and just make it sing, so we'll see. The Velvia really picks up the nice glow from the reflected light. Now, as I did in a picture from a previous episode, I did scatter these leaves in here. I thought it just looked too empty without something else in there. I tried it with nothing, and tried it with just a single leaf as an accent, but ultimately I thought it looked better scattering a few handfuls of freshly fallen leaves that had gathered nearby. That's really it for today. I'm actually leaving Zion tomorrow. I may photograph sort of on my way out of the park tomorrow, but thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.